Big on record. Southern style DJ. DJ Montana Trap. DJ On. We at it again, baby. Man, here we go.
What's going on YouTube? Pyro Tycoon here, bringing you a video called The Decline of Gaming. Now, I know some of you guys that are newer to gaming won't really know exactly what I'm covering, but a lot of you older gamers, guys who've been gaming since like Super Nintendo, will know what I'm talking about when I say that this generation has really been it's really been one end of the spectrum and the other at the same time. It's been really good and really bad for gaming. And right now I'm just going to talk about the bad stuff, the decline of gaming. Things that came out this generation that have been really holding gaming back, or just, it's really been holding gaming back. I don't know how else to put it. But first thing I'm going to talk about that's really been holding gaming back, kind of been putting gaming on a decline, is, first off, DLC. DLC, I feel, has been really holding back gaming. It's kind of been an excuse for developers to kind of half-ass games, finish games that weren't really done, just release games that shouldn't have been released at that point, and go, oh, we'll fix it with a patch, we'll fix it with DLC. There wasn't enough content. Oh, we're adding DLC. We'll add DLC, 15, 20 bucks for a couple maps, few characters in a fighting game, and I feel like it's just an excuse for them to hold back content that should have been in the game, but just wasn't there. And the example I'm going to use for this, I'm going to use a couple examples. First off, I'm going to use fighting games, stuff like Mortal Kombat, Marvel vs. Capcom 3, pay money to get characters? Why? That seems silly. $4 or $5 a character for someone I feel like who should have already been in the game in the first place. I think that's retarded. That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard of. I mean, I could understand if this DLC in particular was free. Like, oh, here's the game, later on we're going to release these characters as free DLC. I'd be like, you know, this is really cool, but it's just an excuse for them to squeeze more money out of the gamers. And the other example I'm going to use on the shooter side of things is Call of Duty, a game that really shouldn't have any DLC. In all honesty, Call of Duty should not have DLC. It's a game that comes out every year, and every iteration has like 2 or 3 map packs or something that's like 15, 20 bucks each, I don't know. But really, for a game that comes out every year, and you have about, you know, even if it's just like 2 or 3 DLC packs, that's what, 80, 100 bucks every year just to get the full experience of Call of Duty? That is BS. That is retarded. That is bullshit. How they're able to do that and get away with it because there's so many people that actually go out and buy this. That's what's really screwing us over, is that these gamers really want all this content that they should have had in the first place, and they go out and buy all these packs. Now, the second thing I'm going to talk about for the decline of gaming is HD graphics. Now, this is kind of works both as a plus and a minus. On the plus side, yeah, the visuals are really good. It can feel a lot more immersive, feels a lot more polished, and it can really add to the gaming experience, I'm not going to lie. But on the downside of things, it takes a lot more development time. It costs a lot more money to develop graphics of that quality, and you run into more problems as far as you know, just kind of glitches in general. It's a lot easier to make mistakes. It takes a lot more time, and really, when it takes more time and it takes more, you know, money to create graphics like that, they're really going to kind of cut back on other things and kind of dumb down the game overall. Like, I know that there's been a lot of games this generation that look really good, have really nice graphics, and the single player is only about like 3 to 6 hours. But for that, they try to make up with it for online play. Now, that's going to actually be the next thing I'm going to cover, is online play. Kind of goes hand in hand with the last thing I said. The online gaming is, again, kind of a double-edged sword. It's really good in the fact that you can play online with all your friends, people you don't know, and just kind of go around killing things or beating the crap out of someone like Street Fighter. That's really cool. But at the same time, for some of these games, it's holding back in the single-player mode because they're so focused on multiplayer that they kind of overlook single-player. Like, I know this is the case with practically every shooter this gen and a lot of other games, except for Street Fighter. Fighting games weren't really meant to have a story mode anyways, but there's a lot of games where the online just kind of interfered with the single player, and that's why your single player story is so short or lacking in content or story, is because they put all the focus into online play. And it's really sad when you think about it. Let's see here. And I have to say that the biggest thing that's holding back gaming is this generation of gamers. This generation that only wants to play with high resolutions. High resolutions, they only want to play online, they only want to play first-person shooters. It's really all this, everything I covered before, is only happening because of this generation of gamers. The companies, the third-party companies, are catering to what these people want. And this is what these people want. They just want online multiplayer. They want this DLC. It's very saddening. The only company that's not giving people what they want is Capcom, and I can cover that in a different video. But overall, this entire generation, 360, PS3, Wii, it's kind of been a decline. Alright, so overall, this generation has been a real step back for gaming, I feel at least. There's been a lot of focus on graphics, a lot of focus on online multiplayer, a lot of focus on DLC. And all these things can be good. They can be good for a game. But I think a lot of people have forgotten that video games are about gameplay. None of these things matter unless the gameplay is good, unless the game is fun. And I think a lot of people have either forgotten about that or just too busy, trying to be a hardcore gamer to even notice. Because have you noticed a lot of these hardcore gamers are just about playing shooters, playing mature games, playing a game that makes them look like a badass, playing a game that cuts people's heads off or fighting off hordes of zombies. And I like doing these things as much as the next guy, but that's not what gaming is about. That's just not the case at all. If that's the case, why weren't there games like that back in Super Nintendo and Genesis days? You remember those days? Those days where video games were simple. Well, they were great at the time, but they had gameplay. The games were so much fun to play. They didn't have these HD graphics, online multiplayer. Some of them didn't have multiplayer at all, and it was just the overall gameplay was great. Some of them didn't even have a storyline. Like Super Mario World, it didn't really have a storyline, but it was still, in my opinion, one of the best games ever, just because it was a video game that was fun. It was just a great game to play. And overall, this generation, I haven't seen too many video games kind of capture that video game magic. And to me, that is a very big disappointment. I hope that changes with the next generation, but you never know. Anyways, Pyro Tycoon, out.